Hey, and welcome to another episode of Gone for the Win. It's going to be a fun one today. We're going to be talking about the Golden Globes winners. Then we've got the SAG award nominations, the DGA award nominations, PGA award nominations, the big three as I like to call them. Plus, I've got at least the cinematographers awards I noticed were also came out there as well. But as always, I've got Dan here to talk about them with. Dan, how's it going?
Going good, Malcolm. I'll tell you what a busy few days it's been. Trying to watch football, watch movies, watch movie award shows. Very, very busy, my friend. I got screeners, I got TV shows, I got all kinds of stuff. I am swamped, my friend.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to go straight into it. It's going to start off the winners of the Golden Globes. The winner of Best Original Song went to Golden, which I think we all kind of predicted. But then, what are your thoughts about Golden winning Best Original Song?
Yeah, I mean, me and you got that one right. We knew it. We knew that was going to happen. That was one of the most easiest predictions you can make with the Golden Globes. We got a couple wrong, but Golden Globes do Golden Globes sometimes. Most of the time, they did pretty good last night. I'll be honest. I thought they didn't do that bad.
Yeah, which the next up we had everyone's favourite award of the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award, which kind of went to Sinners, which as I kind of predicted last week, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if it went that way, but something that's probably going to be in Best Picture and it did it was like an achievement in box office, and it did do it good at numbers, but like it's one of those ones like. I kind of thought maybe it would have gone a different way, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Cinematic Box Office Achievement Award going to Sinners?
Well, I mean, look, we don't want to say this out loud, but we're kind of saying it. At least I'm saying it out loud. This is like the second place award, in a way, and I hate to say it, but it just shows you. It really, I mean, look, Globes the last few years haven't been that bad. And they kind of been, except for a couple instances, been pretty good in predicting the Academy Awards. And if you look at this the way I think you should look at this, it's kind of like saying, hey, Sinners, here's your second place trophy because you're not going to win in the future and you're not going to win tonight. And that's why it won. Hey, if somebody wants to argue with me or give me a hard time about it, hey, I'll be like, hey, I'll agree whatever you say. I'm not going to argue about it. This is my assessment on this.
Yeah, but talking about Sinners, Best Original Score, which I still don't agree with Golden Globes leaving it off the televised broadcast and just awarding it in the middle of the in the ad break. They did it to a different award as well, which I think we'll get to later. Which is there's kind of a random thing where they kind of told them that they won, but Sinners got Best Original Score. Kind of expected. I think it's going to happen at the Oscars again. But Dan, what are your thoughts at Ludwig winning score?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. I did I go with Frankenstein? Did I go with Alexander Desplat on that?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah. I had a feeling it would be Ludwig Göransson. I just kind of wanted to see it go in a different direction, so I was like, I'm going to go for somebody else instead. But this is wow. If Göransson is pulling off this is John Williams level winning of awards, if you ask me. I mean, and I thought he was younger than he was, but apparently he's not as young as I thought. He just looks young. But yeah, I mean, this is looking like a trend where he could pull off the four-peat. I mean, wow, that 4 wins for score for this guy this early in his career. Holy moly, Malcolm, this is quite the feat. If this is a Golden Globe, I'm just kind of going basically forward off the Golden Globe win,
Yeah. But Yeah, and yeah, Philly should mention John Williams, and I will correct you a little bit. Technically, this will be if he wins it if he wins the Oscar for Sinners, it's his third win for score. He was nominated for song for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, but he wasn't nominated for score for that one.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I just had to double check that myself, just in case.
No, you're right. I probably just slipped my mind,
But funny you should mention John Williams is because I did actually ask the question is like that if Ludwig wins at the Oscars, like is he the first one to go from 0 to 3 in such a short time? But John McCarry actually mentioned in that group chat that John Williams did the same thing. He went from 0 to 3 in 6 years. So it is kind of on that John Williams level of wins in a way.
Yeah, so he's kind of following along with one of the greats of all time, which that's rare air as we're basically figuring out here.
But so it's definitely going to be really cool, especially and funny enough, talking about score, it's like because next year we're going to have the potentially John Williams nominated for score again. He's going to be up against Hans Zimmer and I think maybe Gornson again. Maybe I don't know.
Well, if there's a Black Panther movie out next year, I mean, there isn't.
But no, I just want to think was someone did the stat that we're going to have.
Who did Odyssey? Who's doing the Odyssey?
That's the one I was about to check.
I wonder if that's Goranson. Because he did win for Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So it's funny because next year we could have Williams versus Goranson versus Zimmer in score.
Wow.
Because John Williams obviously scoring Spielberg's new movie, Zimmer with Dune Part Messiah, and then Goranson with the Odyssey is like that's a big that's a hard choice just out and those three if they all get in.
Wow, that's 3 heavyweights in score if they're all that level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and thinking of that same way, you're going to have Spielberg versus Nolan versus Villeneuve is like in the director thing for that same trilogy of movies. So
wow, holy moly! No, it's going to be. We knew this year was going to be big.
Yeah. But moving on to screenplay, I'll do screenplay and director. It's as one because they both went to Paul Thomas Anderson for one battle after another, which is kind of expected.
We had that one nailed, both of those.
Yeah, I mean, screenplay it's one of those ones that could have gone either way because, like the way I see it, the front runner for adapted and the front runner for original were both in here, because you had Sinners in here as well. It was just a matter of which one they were going to go with, but judging from what was going to happen later on, I think it is kind of expected. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Paul Thomas Anderson getting director and screenplay?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted this and I thought this would happen, but I do agree with you. It could have went to Coogler based on the separation of the two screenplay, and they don't separate the two at the Golden Globes. But now, do you consider Hamnet a kind of like a closer in the race in screenplay, or do you still not consider Hamnet anywhere near PTA in screenplay?
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones. I think if Hamnet won Best Screenplay at the Globes, then because they're both adapted screenplays.
Yes.
So I mean, if Hamnet had won screenplay, then I probably would have made that argument that maybe Hamnet could get screenplay at the Oscars, but at the moment, I don't know. I was actually going to see Hamnet the other day, actually, but then things happened which led to me not being able to see it.
Oh man! Well,
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
see it next time, Malcolm, make sure you bring your box of tissues.
but I mean, I'm not one. I'm not a big quiet movie. So
Me neither. Me neither,
but,
dude. Trust me, you're gonna get emotional.
But moving on to what I would consider one of the most interesting categories that we're going to look at the Oscars now, is Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture. And that went to Tiana Taylor for one battle after another, which leads to which she won over Amy Madigan, which a lot of people thought was probably going to be unstoppable here. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if this is a Globe thing or if it's going to be one of those ones where it's like it definitely helps her leading up to the Oscars. It was like this win is going to help Tiana a lot. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Tiana winning Best Actress,
supporting actress? Yeah, that is a surprise. That was a surprise to me. I definitely thought Amy Madigan would win here, but like we say, we sometimes globes, and it is a smaller body of people voting, so you don't know exactly what specifically happened. But I think with the popularity of one battle after another, this kind of goes in line with that a little bit. And so it's not a complete shocker, but it's an eyebrow raiser.
Yeah. But moving on to Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture, which once again it is looking like people that are really split between Benicio and Sean Penn, because it was Stellan Skarsgård winning for Sentimental Value, which is highly deserved. I know there's some people who has made the argument there's like that they think Stellan should have been in lead, but I mean personally, I think supporting is right for him, because like, well, yeah, he has a big focus on the movie. He's not in the movie a lot at the same time, but it's one of those cases where I think this is the case where people are clearly very split between one battle after another, and that they're splitting the votes, which is leading to either Jacob Elordi or Stellan's emerging on top. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Stellan winning supporting actor?
No, that was good assessment on your part, but I had him at the Critics' Choice, and I told you when we did our predictions, I said I'm going to double down on Stellan Skarsgård for the Globe. I had because of this specific body of people, I thought he would do good here, and would you know, he pulled it out. He needed this win. He really needed this win, and I was glad he won. And like you said, it was well deserved. I was glad to see him win. I think he's amazing in that movie. So yeah, it looks like those guys are kind of splitting the vote, like you said, man. It's might be to their detriment at the next level, you know. But then we'll talk about the quote unquote actors in a little while, which
yeah, because I've got some thoughts about that, and I actually watched Manning's TikTok, like former host of Gone for the Win, TikTok, where he broke down the SAG Awards, and he brought up some points that I'm going to bring up here, which is interesting as well. But moving on to best actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. And predictably, it went to Rose Byrne for If I'd Kick You, which in this case, it was kind of a given that they were going to go this way. But because like she is arguably one of the two front runners in the Oscar race. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Rose Byrne winning Best Actress in a Musical Comedy?
Yeah, I was so happy for her. I was like, please, Rose Byrne win. And then her speech. Did she do herself a favor with that speech? I'll tell you right now, that was a hell of a speech. And yeah, I love her in the movie. I was glad to see her win. And you're right. She's the top two in that category and in the Best Actress category. So because they split it, she got in here. Yeah, I was really happy for her.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't watch the ceremony because it was only on Paramount Plus, and not a thing in New Zealand. And no one else had the rights to it. But anyway, best actor in a motion picture musical comedy went to Timothy Chalamet. Once again, it's kind of expected. But he's arguably one of the top two that people are predicting to win the Oscar. But it does also go to show that maybe people aren't as high as on Leo's performance in One Bear After Another either. But Timothy winning, I think, is deserved. And yeah, I'm still yet to see the movie. It comes out in a cup next week for me, I believe. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Timothy winning Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy?
Yeah, no, this is par for the course. We needed this to happen for Timothy to win his Oscar this year. And I liked his speech, too. I thought the speech was very well. He didn't just thank his girlfriend, Kylie Jenner, which, I thought that was kind of like, you're thanking your girlfriend? Give me a break, dude. How about thanking the people that made the movie and your co-stars and people like that? You know what I mean? I like this speech a little bit better. But, yeah, this is what he needs. He needs to keep piling up these awards every week and every other week or whatever, because this is going to lead, because this week leading right into the voting this week, that was an important win for him last night.
Yeah. But moving on to Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, that went to Jessie Buckley for Hamlet, which once again she's the other one that's kind of in this race at the moment. It's like, as I think we've said this a few times, doing this, like, it kind of is a two-horse race at the moment. It is between Jessie and Rose for that top spot. But yeah, but Dan, what are your thoughts about Jessie winning Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama?
Same thing with Timothy Chalamet. She keeps winning. She needs to keep winning. And I liked her speech again. She came off very humble and appreciative of the movie and the people that made the movie, which is what you want to do, leading right into Oscar voting, which started today. So this is good for her.
Yep, and moving on to Best Male Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, and that went to Ragnar Moore for The Secret Agent, which was kind of the predictable choice that they're probably going to go with here. And not so much because I think it's bad, because once again, I haven't seen The Secret Agent, not out in New Zealand yet. But it's also one of those ones, looking at his competition, I couldn't see any of them getting any momentum and winning. None of the other ones, except maybe Michael B. Jordan, were in any contention to take him down, because I think he was a heavy favorite. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Ragnar Moore winning for Secret Agent?
Yeah, we predicted this one, but based off of what we already know, and that's the Brazilian contingent, we knew that they were going to push him to the win here, even though he kind of was the most obvious winner anyways, except, like you mentioned, Michael B. Jordan, maybe. But yeah, he was going to win here. And if you had anybody else winning, you were going to get this category wrong. And that Brazilian, it just shows you now 2 years in a row, the Brazilian contingent of the Golden Globes is very strong. You cannot count them out in the future.
But moving on to one of the weirdest announcements for this winner, they went to Best Motion Picture for Non-English Language, which apparently they were told on the red carpet they had won, which I thought, unless it was either that or the correct choice, I don't know. I remember seeing a clip of them being told on the red carpet that they won the award, just like, and they had the speech there, but it was like, it went to the Secret Agent anyway, which once again, Brazilian contingent, but it's also one of those ones like, it's kind of this race is kind of very difficult as it is, because like there's a scenario where there's at least 4 out of this 5 that could potentially be the winner at the Oscar, which but yes, Dan, what are your thoughts about Secret Agent winning non-English language?
Yeah, I mean, this is where the Brazilian condition pushing this movie to the win here at the Globes is something you just can't you can't count on that happening at the Academy Awards. This is a Globes, picking the Brazilian contingent picking this movie because they love this movie and they overwhelmed the voting, which is a small body of voters. It's not the amount of voters that are voting in the actors or the Academy Awards. So it's going to be a little bit different, but it is a neon. I'd put money on a neon movie winning Best International Feature.
But that we're going to move on to Best Motion Picture Animated, which went to K-pop Demon Hunters. Kind of as figured, it's going to sweep everything. Nothing much more to say on this. Dan, what are your thoughts about the K-pop winning animated?
No, I mean, this is obvious. So we knew this was going to happen. The K-pop was going to win. I mean, I still say it's winning, but you have to put an asterisk by it. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe people want to give me a hard time about it. I don't care. You can't make this movie the winner in the odds on all these award shows when the biggest box office film of the year is an animated film, and it, because of the country is a communist country and they didn't put their movie up for any of these kinds of awards. You can't just say this is the best animated film of the year. And I will keep saying it, that Ne Zha 2 isn't in this race. So you don't know what is actually the best animated film of the year. And I'll continue to say it.
But moving on to Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, and that went to particularly One Battle After Another. Once again, that's kind of a race we thought was pretty much going to happen this way. Like it was easy to predict. And yeah, but Dan, what are your thoughts about One Battle After Another winning motion picture musical?
This is a no-brainer. It had to win this. It was going to win this. It's just on its way to being an absolute juggernaut this award season. And yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot you could say about it because it's obvious. It was obviously going to win.
Yeah, and then moving on to Best Motion Picture Drama, and that went to Hamnet, which I will say, like, even though I've heard a lot that it is a good movie and all that, and it's much deserved, I was also a little bit surprised because I thought for sure it was going to end up being Sinners, just because the way people have been talking in this race, a lot of people have been arguing that it's like Best Picture is probably going to come down to One Battle After Another or Sinners, but now it's looking like it's going to come down to One Battle After Another or Hamnet for Best Picture. But it does make me more like really interested to check it out when I can eventually get around to checking it out. But Dan, what are your thoughts about Hamnet winning Best Motion Picture Drama?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what your assessment is and what you're saying, Malcolm. But in hindsight, thinking back on it, wait a minute, this is the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. What's a foreign movie about a foreign person? Maybe the British contingent stepped up here, Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, and pushed Hamnet to the win in this particular award show. I don't know. I'm only speculating on that, and that it's going to maybe make people think, second guess what's second place at the Academy, what could be second at the Academy. Where you're going to really glean some information, Malcolm, is the BAFTAs. But guess what? The nominations, the show and the nominations don't come out till after the Academy Award nominations. So the BAFTAs really not doing anybody any favors except for their long lists. If you can glean anything from the BAFTA long list and see how many categories Hamnet is in and whether you think it could get nominated, that could be a telling thing going forward. What is number 2, 3, whatever for the Academy Awards? I just think this might be a little clue that Hamnet is stronger than people think.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. Like at the end of the day, like that is a good point. Then I did have a look at the long list like when they first came out. I didn't put them in here to talk about just because we've got a few others to talk about anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, look, I will say this: like a British movie doing really well in the British award show wouldn't surprise me that at least. And it's just one of those ones that's like, yeah, I mean, it
has to do good. It needs to do good. It needs to have a lot of nomination in the long lists, and then it needs to win a bunch of awards because it has to show strength. That's where you were going to get the strength for Hamnet. Winning here was a surprise, but it could be a clue, is all I'm trying to say. This slight little clue that's saying they voted Hamnet over Sinners might be like, well, wait a minute here. Sinners might be not as strong as we think. And you have to look at that box office achievement award and say, look at this. They're giving it the second place award, technically. Remember that year, Barbie and Oppenheimer? What won the box office achievement award? Barbie. What won picture? Oppenheimer. What cleaned up all award season? Oppenheimer, right? This is a similar situation, I think. But hey, who knows? You never know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones like it's always one that it can go either way. Like as far as I see, is like it's between Sinners, Hamnet, one better after another. For best picture, I know there's people with like who will think that one better was like just miles ahead and is hard to catch up, but I don't know. I don't think it's that cut and dry anymore. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But moving on, Dan, did you watch the ceremony or did you sort of do what I did, just sort of follow the results as they kind of dropped?
No, I watched the ceremony. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, I did miss the opening monologue by Nikki Glaser, but I did kind of peruse different places, and people said that she did a good job on the opening monologue. Because I was on I was watching a episode of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, my 6th episode, so I wanted to get that knocked out before I started the Golden Globe. So I started about a half hour late, so I missed Nikki Glaser. But yeah, the show seemed to be fine. I mean, it was all right. I mean, it was some bits that weren't. In the course of the show, there was a few bits I wasn't a fan of. But I mean, there's always going to be some stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
Did you happen to rewatch the Glaser monologue?
I didn't watch the opening monologue. But the one thing I was quickly looking up is to see if they did an in memoriam, which I think they used to, but they didn't do one this time around. But
and they did a second show the night before. They're calling it Golden Globes Eve, where they gave like the Cecil B. DeMille or whatever the version of the Cecil B. The night before, there was a different, like I think Ted Danson was the one in charge of it or something. So they're doing now 2 shows, one to get a couple of the awards out of the way the night before, so the main show isn't as long.
Yeah. But no, what I was going to say is because I did quickly look up because I was kind of curious to see if they would include an in memoriam, because based on what we know about Paramount Plus and their relationship with Trump and all that, I was kind of curious to see if they would include Rob Reiner on that in memoriam, but because they didn't do an in memoriam at all, then it's all null and void in the end. But one thing I did find is that Nikki Glaser did do a subtle tribute to Rob Reiner by donning a "This Is Spinal Tap" hat and going, "This goes up to 11," kind of tribute.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, that's what. But I didn't like watch the clips and stuff, but it's one of those ones like, yeah. I mean, I haven't heard any complaints about the actual award show itself, but yeah. But moving on to the SAG Awards, and yeah, these are interesting. And it's one of those ones like we're going to get into this in a minute anyway. It's like is is like not a lot of international representation here, but in saying that, it's one of those ones like because it is the Screen Actors Guild of America, it's kind of expected that they will be left out. Partially because like they, if you're not part of the Screen Actors Guild, you're probably not going to get nominated. But
yeah, but I mean, like, I think sentimental value getting completely shut out. Really?
Well, I'll get back. I'll bring up that point when we get to that specific category. But moving on, the nominations for outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble and a motion picture. The nominations is F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, One Battle for Another, and Sinners. Dan, what are your thoughts about the nominations for the stunt ensemble?
This makes complete sense. I'd be shocked if it went to anybody other than Mission Impossible. Those stunts are incredible. All the other stunts in the other movies are good. They don't even come close to the stunts in Mission Impossible. If that doesn't win, that is shocking to me.
But moving
is that
on,
what you're predicting too?
Oh yeah. I think Mission Impossible is a safe bet. But it's also one of those ones like I wouldn't be too surprised if One Battle After Another or F1 gets to win either, because like while they are very different stunts, I think they're still well done at the same time as well. So Mission Impossible is always a safe bet to go with for that when it comes to stunt ensemble, but it's also in this year I can see it maybe going one of two different ways as well. So,
did it win the part one, or whatever you call the last part? Did that win for stunts? If you don't mind,
I think so. I don't really remember.
Was it a year between, like a gap year between the two, or did it was back-to-back years? One came out, then the next year the other one came out. Because that's how we figure out what won the. Because I don't remember what it won, if it won last year or not. But I mean, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. I'm just.
I don't want to sidetrack our conversation. I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, because it seems like it's like the right choice, but I think you picking F1 as a potential upset, I think is on par where it could be that, because racing tends to do well in the stunt categories and sound and things like that.
Yeah, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning did win a few years ago in 2023.
Okay, so there was a gap year between, so this will be okay. So this is, I mean, I think it's going to win. This is, I don't see any other way something else happens, but
moving on to outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture. Nominated, we've got Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. It's kind of the five I kind of expect to see here. There's not really much surprises at all, but Dan, what are your thoughts about the cast ensemble?
Yeah, I think these are the five that are the front runners for the Academy Award that will be in the five of the 10 for Best Picture. I think when you see them in this, they're most likely going to be in the casting category at the Academy Awards as well. And they're all going to be in Best Picture probably. I mean, it just shows you that foreign films aren't that strong with this branch, the acting branch. So I think they're going with these films because these are the most obvious films that everybody's picking, and the acting is really strong in these films. And like you said, this isn't a foreign branch, so you're probably not going to see as many foreign films, or like the Critics' Choice, where critics tend to have a little bit more highbrow picks. You do see a lot of the foreign films in the Critics' Choice Awards, because critics tend to have that. So this is pretty par for the course. I wouldn't have expected much else either, Malcolm. I think this is exactly what anybody predicting these awards should have predicted.
Yeah. But moving on to outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role, we've got Odessa Azion for Marty Supreme, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Musaku for Sinners, and then Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. What are your thoughts about the supporting actress nominations?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good, but once again, no Elle Fanning, no Ib's daughter, and I think instead of Azion, I would have had Gwyneth Paltrow in there. So they went with the younger actress who hasn't really got a lot of love over the years, and it's been in a kind of bunch of bad horror movies. She just gets one good role, and then bam, she's getting awards love for that one role. But I mean, I'd be shocked if Amy Madigan doesn't win this. Come when these awards are given out on Netflix, this seems like an obvious choice that Amy Madigan's got this. But with Tiana Taylor's win at the Globes, maybe she's sneaking up on Amy Madigan.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like this is going to be interesting because this could be a year where we get a different winner for supporting actress, like leading up to the Oscars. So it's like, it's one of those ones that if someone else wins apart from either Tiana or Amy, then it's a really interesting race.
Because someone else is going to win over at the Baptist.
Yeah. But moving on to outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role, we've got Miles Caton for Sinners, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, and Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. Which, once again, this is the 5 we've been seeing all around this. It's 5 of the 6 we had at the Globes. Sandler's just kind of fallen off at this point. It's not happening at the Oscars. Sorry, Brian, but it's not. But once again, this is one of those cases, like, as I know Dan's going to point out, there's no Stellan Skarsgård here. And it's one of those ones, like, even if it's a case of because they're international and that, I would think that both Stellan Skarsgård and Elle Fanning at least are members of SAG. So them not being nominated is interesting as there. But it's one of those ones like I fully expect Benicio, Jacob, Paul Mescal, and Sean Penn to all be at the Oscars in the Oscar 5. I think Miles Caton will be where Stellan Skarsgård will land at the Oscars. But this is not a bad 5 either. And I think once again we're going to see the One Battle of Another boys split, and because Stellan's not here, it's going to go to Jacob Elordi. But Dan, what are your thoughts about supporting actor?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same with the supporting actors. They had a younger actor in there, and that was Odessa Azion, and now here they have Miles Caton in here instead of the veteran, the guy who's been acting for years and years and years, who should have been nominated for an Emmy, should have won an Emmy this past year as well. I mean, for Andor, in my opinion. I mean, he gives one of the best. I mean, hands down, he gives one of the best performances of the year. I don't understand how the SAG, this group didn't excluded Stellan Skarsgård. To me, it's just it's just kind of shocking to me that Miles Keaton, who's his many years, this is his first movie he's ever did. Malcolm is the first movie the kid ever did. I mean, Stellan's been acting for years. You're telling me you don't want to reward Stellan Skarsgård over a kid who this is the first thing he's ever done, and it doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean?
But moving on to outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role, we've got Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, got Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Chase Infinity for One Bird After Another, and Emma Stone for Begonia, which once again it's showing a lot of love for Begonia, but yeah, this once again this is an interesting one, and Renette Rinsfev not being here is interesting. But once again, for the same reasons, like I think Renette is probably the one that's probably not going to have a SAG card. Once again, I don't know. I'm only speculating here. I'm only trying to figure out in my head why these people missed, when they definitely should have been here for sure. But it's also one of those ones that the lead actress race is a very tough race as it is anyway, so I wouldn't be upset what 5 end up getting nominated at the Oscars. But then what are your thoughts about the 5 for lead act? Well,
I had a feeling they were going to put Kate Hudson here. She was going to knock somebody out, you know. But the fact that Renee Rensva is not in here, Cynthia Erivo is not in here, and she's not considered one of the top 5, you know. I mean, it is a very tough. It is. I mean, the best actress is a tough category. It is a tough category. It could be any of the 7 or 8 people that we've been speculating for weeks now what it could be. But I just think they've dropped the ball here by not putting at least Renee Renzo. This is the 3rd category where they've excluded a sentimental value actor or actress, where there seemed like it was an obvious choice to put them in over younger actors or actors who really don't have the body of work as some of these other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then moving on to lead actor we've got Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. We've got Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and then we've got Jesse Plemons for Begonia, which once again, this is kind of an expected-ish lineup. Jesse Plemons being here for Begonia is a surprise, but I totally expect him to not hit the Oscars. I think it's going to be Ragnar Moore that's going to break in that spot. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the lead actor race?
Once again, they exclude the foreign film actor for an American actor. And we know Ragnar Moore has got a SAG card because he's done Narcos, he's done movies in America. It's just, I don't know what's going on here. I would like somebody with a little bit more, like somebody that knows this stuff a little bit, slightly more than me, to maybe explain what's going on, why foreign film actors in films are being excluded from these awards. I don't understand why. What makes them not as qualified as other movies like Begonia? I know Begonia has been getting some momentum over the last couple of weeks and stuff. I mean, but you're going to exclude Sentimental Value, Secret Agent in these movies in place of that movie over. I don't understand. It just I'm just kind of, it's just, these are head scratching decisions. And this is a big body of voters, Malcolm. This is like 80 foreign writers or whatever. This is 160,000 people that are voting in the Actors Guild.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of really surprising to me. Really surprising.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, the fun fact I was going to bring up is outside of so most of the people that got the nominations in the main categories, almost all of them, like there was only 8 actors that were nominated that were not nominated in the ensemble category. There's only 8 different other movies nominated that were not in the ensemble category. So yeah, it's just a really interesting fact. There's
They just stuck to those 5. They just stuck to those 5 movies.
Pretty much.
If Sentimental Value was going to be in one of them 5 movies, you probably would have seen Sentimental Value's actors and actresses in some of these categories.
Oh, exactly. And yeah, it's like Manning was saying, it's like because he was saying on his TikTok, there's like the SAG were just being really lazy this time. It's like there's like there was not really any categories here. Is like, ooh, that's a cool nomination. And it's one of those ones like if Song Sung Blue had not got the Golden Globe nomination, so I was like, well, maybe they could get a SAG nomination. Then I would have been surprised. It was like even that wasn't an overly big surprise. Like,
no, we kind of predicted they'd put Kate Hudson in here.
Yes. So yeah, the fact that the SAG just relays is like, we'll just go very basic, and it's a lot of the stuff that we expect. Well, we didn't expect them to snub Cinnamon Valley for the same reason, but
I thought in the past, though, Malcolm, I don't know. You could tell me how wrong I am, but I thought in the past there was 10 once in a while. I thought they had 10 at one point. The SAG did set 10 casts at one point. I could be wrong, but I could have swore I remember years where they did have 10 casts. And maybe they pared it down back to 5 or something.
I've only ever remembered him as
5. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just recollecting wrong. You know what I mean? Because it won't be the first time.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring that because that's kind of an interesting thing to check up there.
Yeah, if they didn't, they didn't. I mean, I could have swore I remember them having 10 at one point, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean the last few years it's definitely been 5.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah. It's been 5 recently. You're right. I don't know why. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the SAGs. I don't really have any final thoughts about other than this. It's like, but other than that, I do kind of agree with Manning. Is like they could, but like they went heavy on the 5 ensemble ones. I would have liked it. Thought it would be more interesting if it's one of those ones like. While I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there, but it's like if you're going to have like nominate a lot of their casts in multiple categories, then do they really need to be nominated in ensemble at the same time? Especially if you think that like the specific big name people in the cast are that good, but it's just a minor quibble. But any final words on the SAGs?
Yeah, I just maybe. Look, this is a broken record with me. You know this, Mac. Maybe SAG should do what I've been saying the Academy Awards should do: expand their categories to six votes, and maybe expand Best Ensemble to 10 votes. And maybe we would see more international films and actors nominated in some of these categories. Maybe that's what they need to do to show more love for international films. I don't know.
Well,
That's just a thought. What do you think?
Well, I mean, in thinking about that, I mean, it's just like like I don't know. I think I kind of get it before they get stuck into 5. Like, I think expanding them to more, I think it will be a good thing, but it's also one of those. It also doesn't guarantee that
No,
it will be
right.
filled up for international people either. But I am kind of interested. Like, would be interested to see if they would introduce a new category of like best male and female in an international movie, if they're not going to nominate the international people in the main categories.
Best international cast. That's not a bad idea. And you have 5 for that. That's not a bad idea, Malcolm. I mean, that's actually just one more category. You expand it to one more category, international ensemble. Oh, that's a great idea, I think.
Well, I mean, I was kind of getting at just adding 2 extra categories, like best lead actor in an international movie, best lead actress in an international movie. But adding 3 wouldn't be too far off out of reach as well.
No, it wouldn't at all. No, it wouldn't at all. I mean, the controversy this year might get them to do that next year because they're taking a lot of heat for what happened this year. Remember when it was Oscars so white, and then people said, "Well, how about black directors and black people make movies so then we could direct foreign films and foreign Latino actors and Asian actors and black actors and so forth. How about we get more of those films?" And at the time, or whatever it was, there wasn't a lot of them films coming out, so that they could only nominate what they have to base, what the grouping of films that were out that year. You know what I mean? So, and then obviously we've seen a lot more of that: Asian films, Latino films, black-centric films. You know what I mean?
Yeah, funny you should mention that because that's a good segue to moving on to the DGA awards, because if the DGA 5 is the 5 we're going to get at the Oscars, it's looking like we could have a very, very either international / coloured lineup of directors, because the nominations for theatrical feature film for Directors Guild of America have got Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. We got Ryan Coogler for Sinners. We got Del Toro for Frankenstein. We've got Josh Safdie for Marty's Prime, and we've got Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. Dan, what are your thoughts about the 5 nominated for the DGA?
Look, this is a body that we have come to find they are more up on the times. I don't know if that's the right saying or right thing to say, whatever. You got foreign film directors, you got American directors, you got black directors, you got female directors, you got a rainbow of different types of people in this category for the DGA. DGA, this is probably the type of thing you're going to get for the Academy Awards and director. I'd be willing to put money. This is really good. This is going to be really, I think people are predicting maybe Guillermo not being the 5 for the best director at the Academy Awards. It's probably going to be like Joachim Trier or something like that, but whatever. I mean, this is another difficult category to predict because there's so many great directing, great movies that were directed by great directors. I hate to use the word great all the time, but I mean, it's hard to come up with a different word right now.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a good lineup of directors here, and it's one of those ones like, because I wouldn't, and it's also one of those ones I wouldn't be overly surprised if one, like, well, yeah, I think at this point, I think to predict Ryan Coogler would not be nominated is a bit more risky than anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow falls off between now and next week from when we finally get the Oscar nominations.
Did you, not to interrupt you, did he make the BAFTA long list for director?
I'm pretty sure he was there. I remember seeing his name there.
All right, finish your thought. I apologize.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones like I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Coogler drops off as well for maybe Jafar Panahi to sneak in there for just an accident or something like that. But even so, it's looking like the director lineup might be a very very international centric when it comes to directors, with Paul Thomas Anderson being the odd one out.
Well, he's a white guy, the Caucasian white American. So that's what you're getting at. That Guillermo's from Mexico, Chloe Zhao's Chinese, whatever.
Actually, I think Josh Safdie's also a white guy, but
yeah, Josh Safdie's a white guy too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. Was I think Paul Thomas Anderson's definitely safe. I think Chloe Zhao is definitely being safe. Like both of them have popped up a lot. And then I would argue Ron Kluger's probably safe. Del Toro and Josh Safdie's they're two. While I think their movies are good, I think they are also two that I could see maybe drop off just for some more international flavor to sneak into the here. But it's one of those ones that it's really hard to tell at this point.
No, I agree. You made a good. But Josh Safdie could be the one that drops off for Panahi or Joachim Trier or something like that. No, I think you make a valid point there.
And then the Michael Apted first time theatrical feature film award nominations went to Hassan Hardy for The President's Cake. We got Harry Lighton for Pillion. We got Charlie Palinga for The Plague. We got Alex Russell for Lurker. And then we've got Eva Victor for Sorry Baby, which I'm glad to see Eva Victor getting some nominations in place as well, but Sorry Baby is a great movie. But yeah, it's also the only one out of this 5 I've seen, so I don't have much to say on this category. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the nominations for first time theatrical film?
No, this is what a great. I mean, this is a great lineup for. I've seen 3 of the 5. I'm hoping to see The President Cake soon, and Pillion is A24, so it's just waiting on a screening when it plays in America. It's played in England because it's basically an English movie, even though it's A24. But yeah, this is a good list of. Maybe Ephus. I would have liked to have seen Carson London here for Ephus, but I mean, this isn't a bad list at all.
Yeah. But
and then again, Carson Lundon might not be his first movie, so I might be making a mistake there.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just kind of stalling for time here while I find out. Carson Lund, who apparently doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it probably might have been his first movie, maybe. Directors. Yeah, so Ephus is his first feature film. He's done some shorts, and then he directed 3 episodes of a TV series called Randy and the Milk Boy, which I've never heard of in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did great winning the Gotham Award. I thought maybe that would translate into some other directing awards for him, but it hasn't. So I kind of feel bad because I think Ephus is an amazing guy. You know how much I love Ephus, so I don't have to explain that to you.
But funny enough, apparently Carson Lund is also a cinematographer, which also leads into the American Society of Cinematographers.
Oh, good segue.
But yeah, so the nominations for cinematography got Autumn Gerald Arkapour for Sinners, Michael Beaumont for One Battle After Another, Darius Conji for Marty Supreme, Dan Lautzen for Frankenstein, and Adolfo Veloso for Train Dreams, which it's surprised because from what I've heard about Hamlet, I thought Hamlet would have been here for sure.
Yeah, that's kind
But
of sad.
all these nominations are on the short list. So it's going to be interesting. But Dan, what do you thought about the nominations for the cinematography's award?
Well, this is good for Train Dreams. It needs to keep getting into these categories in various groups, in award shows, in guilds. My main man, Dan Lautson's in here. Boy, is he overdue. I mean, look, I think Train Dreams has got the best cinematography of the year. But if that doesn't win, I would be through the roof, Malcolm, if my main man, Dan Lautson, who I think is overdue for an Academy Award for cinematography. What he has done with the John Wick franchise is incredible. Some of the most gorgeous movies I've ever seen in my life, the last couple John Wick movies. But he's also worked with Guillermo on a few of his movies, Nightmare Alley. What's the one with the sea creature? Something of water. Something of water. I forget the Way of Water. Right? Is it the Way of Water? No, that's Avatar. Whatever. But no, Train Dreams.
The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. That's it. The Shape of Water. He's worked with him on a few of his movies, and you can see how gorgeous his movies look. Dan Lautson is amazing with light. I mean, colored light, light of all kinds. But yeah, Sinners has got great cinematography. So, but it seems like Train Dreams is going to win, but you never know.
Yeah, and then moving on to the PGA awards, and nominated for the PGA awards, we've got Begonia, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Marty Supreme, we've got One Battle After Another, we got Sentimental Value, we got Sinners, we got Train Dreams, and we got Weapons in here as well, which I kind of like this. I kind of like this lineup. Well, it's one of those ones like.
Was that 8?
2, 6, 7, 9. But I'm counting, but
9.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to the P.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought PGA had the same as the Academy Awards as 10. That's why I'm asking, because I didn't hear 10 films. That's why I was like,
yeah, that's what I'm just double checking just to make sure. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
That's why they always. Go ahead.
No, there is 10. So there's Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamlet, Marty Supreme, One Battle of Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Weapons. So that's 10.
So the one that I think you didn't mention, or I don't remember you mentioned, was F1. I don't think I heard F1 the first time.
It's probably a case of because it's just that short title. I probably said it. You probably just missed it.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here, because I was counting them. I'm thinking. Because the PGA, they always say, the PGA is the best example of the Academy Awards because they're 1-for-1 with the Academy Awards, and they have the way they vote is the same way as the Academy Awards. I'll be honest with Malcolm. I mean, look, I like F1 quite a bit, and I loved Weapons. You saw that made my honorable mentions in your Rankum channel at number 11. I had it at number 11.
Yeah.
I don't think they're making. I honestly, I don't think you're going to get that many Warner Brothers movies in the final 10 for Best Picture. I just don't think I think PGA. Okay, this is the thing you do. They have 4 PGA Warner Brothers movies in here. You're just not going to get 4 in the final 10 of the Academy Awards. PGA, and we've had this discussion before, tend to go off of monetary, how much money a movie makes as part of their criteria, because it's producers put the money up for the movies. And so I think that's why you see all 4 of these major box office winners for Warner Brothers in the final 10. That's just my speculation. I think you're not going to see F1 and Weapons in the final 10. I think you might not even see Train Dreams, but you don't know. I would love to see Train Dreams in there. Oh my God, that'd be amazing if Train Dreams got in there. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that because I think it's something we should be talking about. This is an important topic.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like this is one of those cases where I wouldn't be too surprised if we get if we get full Warner Brothers movies in the lineup at all, because it's one of those ones like because funny enough, like out of them, like the only one that was really in the like top 10 highest grossing movies of 2025, F1 is the only one that was in the top 12. Like, well, Weapons and Sinners did good. Like, Sinners was number 19 and Weapons was like 22. Like,
but based off of their budget.
Well, yeah, they still made money, but it's also one of those ones like, because the interesting thing to note here is I think PGA have had Avatar in both iterations, and the fact that Avatar Fire and Ash didn't get in this time round.
Yeah,
I think so, and so I think it's one of those ones. I think if we get like if anything sort of happens and stuff, that it's one of those ones. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get, because it's one of those ones like and the other worth noting is like with the way the Oscars is like they're slowly starting to embrace horror movies a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 horror movies in here. So I wouldn't be which means Frankenstein, Weapons, and Sinners could still all be in that 10 for the Oscars too. So it's one of those ones like if we do get 4 Warner Brothers movies, I wouldn't be surprised about it. Because it's worth noting there's like it's also worth noting that that I think this could probably like puts an end to Jay Kelly potentially getting into Best Picture. It puts an end to Avatar Fire and Ash getting into Best Picture. As much as I hate to admit it, it's probably an end for Wicked for Good as well.
Oh yeah.
But
so you're saying you don't think more foreign films are going to get into Best Picture than what we see here? What do we got? Sentimental value. What else do we have here? Technical. What's a technical foreign film in these 10?
Yeah, sentimental value is the only one really.
You're saying you don't think there's going to be more than one international movie in the 10?
See, I didn't say that I don't think there's going to be multiple international movies. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if the four Warner Brothers movies are still in that 10 at come Oscar time.
Wow. I'd love to see what you think is out in 4 Warner Brothers movies is in, not including that you don't think more international features are in. That'd be an interesting 10 for me. I'd love to see that, Malcolm, what your 10 would be.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like, I mean, I haven't quite decided if, I'm going to predict for when we come to the Oscars, do the Oscars predictions next week. I haven't quite finished that in my head, but it's just one of those ones like, because I think for just looking at this, like I think Train Dreams is one of those ones like I know some people, I think that is gaining steam, but it's also one of those ones that I wouldn't be surprised if it just gets the nominations like in where it has beginning and it misses Best Picture. So
all right, let's go through this. Okay, with Train Dreams, because we are with Song. Do you think it's in Song?
See, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's one of those ones. If it gets nominated in Song, then it's not winning in Song anyway.
No, we know it's not going to win. I'm just asking you, do you think it gets in Song?
It's honestly hard to tell. I think it sneaks in, but it's also, it depends on what it is.
All right, so Joel Edgerton out in actor?
I think Joe Richardson's still maybe sneaks in.
So you're saying okay, and then obviously cinematography is a no-brainer. We got that.
Yeah.
All right. What other is there? Any other categories you see Train Dreams getting into besides those three?
I mean, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But it's
So
yeah.
then we'll transition to: is that a package, in your opinion, to get it in the Best Picture?
I mean, it's a package for sure, but I don't know if it's a strong package.
Good. I agree with you. I think you hit the nail on it. The word strong is very, very good word. I agree with you. That's a package. It may not be a strong enough package to get it in Best Picture. So you're basically saying that you think Train Dreams is out.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those ones like with Best Picture, there's a lot of factors in the air here to when it comes. It's really tough to predict. Also, something I just learned up now by just looking at the producer guild. Apparently, Steven Spielberg and Sam Mendes are producers on Hamnet, which is interesting.
Well, Steven Spielberg spoke on behalf of the movie last night at the Golden Globes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know until now because, as I said, I wasn't able to watch the Golden Globes.
I should have said something sooner too. Yeah, Steven Spielberg. What happened is Steven Spielberg had the script, had the movie, and it was going to be Sam Mendes was going to originally direct it, and something happened, and he couldn't direct it, and Steven Spielberg said, "Hey, I think Chloe Zhao would do a great job directing it." And he said that at the speech. Says, I couldn't have picked anybody else that I could have thought could have directed this movie any better than Chloe Zhao. He really went to bat for Chloe Zhao in that speech. It might have been a very good speech, I might add. I forgot all about that, Malcolm. Yeah. Very good speech on behalf of the movie that could really catapult that thing. Oh my God. Wow. I think getting that kind of support from Spielberg, obviously it's his movie, he produced it. That's the kind of support you need, I'll tell you, right, on the large scale, like Paramount Plus, CBS, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, you're right. We could be here all day till the cows come home talking about all of these movies and all their chances and their not chances and what kind of package they have. And we're going to, over the weeks to come, we will have more discussions about this. But I was just kind of going off of the PGA. I just think the PGA kind of isn't a 1-for-1 this year. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's a 1-for-1. I think it's got some cracks in its
group. Yeah. So I mean, it's like last year the PGA were 8 out of 10 for the Oscar lineup. So
and 2 years ago, one of the years I thought it went 10 for 10. Or something like that, a couple of years ago, or something.
It might have been the Oppenheimer Barbie year where they went 10 for 10.
Yeah, and so people started saying, "Oh, the producers you got to pay attention to the producers because they're 1-for-1. They do the similar voting, all that kind of stuff." I don't think this year.
I mean,
go ahead.
But moving on, the nominations for documentary movies, The Alabama Solution, Cover Up, Miss Nobody Against Putin, My Mum Jane, Ocean with David Attenborough, The Perfect Neighbor, and The Tale of Cillian. So they do 7 here. So it's one of those ones like I think there's a good shot that at least 5 of these is going to be the Oscar 5 documentary. I don't think Ocean with David Attenborough is getting nominated at the Oscars, but I think, as to what is the other one that gets knocked out for the 5, I don't know. But then what are your thoughts about the lineup?
Tale of Cillian, I believe you could look it up. I don't think it's in the long list for documentary. I think people were shocked at that because it was like in the Critics' Choice and it was in other places, and then it didn't get in the long list, I believe, for documentary. Don't quote me on that, but I thought that was one of the ones that people like. It didn't get in. And that was the one everybody, oh, this is the front runner, this is the front runner. And then bam, it didn't even make the long list for the Academy Award. So now you can't count on the Tale of Silly. And it's weird. It's in so many places, yet then the place that matters, it's not in there, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like we're at least getting the. But I think at this point, The Perfect Neighbor to not be nominated is going to be
surprising.
Predicting that.
Yeah.
Well, I think The Perfect Neighbor is probably definitely getting it at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
As if it wins, I don't know.
I think Apocalypse in the Tropics might be the one that might drop off, which it would be a disappointment for me because I liked it, you know. But
Apocalypse in the Tropics isn't on the producer documentary nomination.
No. What I'm saying is it's in the short list, the long list.
Oh, yeah.
The Academy Award. I don't think it's based off of this. You'd say, okay, what's on that list, and that's probably not going to get in, or it could get. You never know. Is Apocalypse in the Tropics is what I'm trying to get.
Oh yeah. But moving on, the producer of animated movies nominated. We've got The Bad Guys 2, we've got Demon Slayer, Infinity Cast, we've got Elio, we've got K-pop Demon Hunters, we've got Zootopia 2. Like Elio, K-pop, and Zootopia 2 are the expected things. Once again, they didn't really go too much for the international one, apart from like Demon Slayer, which is the most popular anime movie. Well, second to Nails Out 2, but it was in the top 10 highest grossing movies of last year.
It did very well. If you're not going to include Neja 2, it did very well considering.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting at. I know what you're getting at, Mark.
But it was in like Arco and Little Amelie, which is probably the other two getting nominated. Like they're international movies, they probably didn't want to nominate. I don't know.
2 French animated movies, Malcolm. 2 French animated movies. Yeah.
But that is it for today. We'll be back. Maybe not at next week at some stage, or most likely Tuesday is.
What day is Tuesday?
The 21st or 20th.
20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Right as of right now, I can do that.
Because I know I won't be able to do Monday unless we go like 6 and that. But anyway, we'll just discuss that off here. But next week we'll be doing our Oscar predictions. I don't think we've got anything else we need to talk about on that day. Just quickly looking at maybe we'll have like the Visual Effects Society nominations as well. But there's not much happening next week aside from the Oscar nominations. I still find it annoying that we don't have the WGA nominations until after the Oscar nomination.
Or the BAFTAs before the Academy Award nomination.
I mean, the BAFTAs doesn't bother me too much because, but WGA not being after the nominations. In fact, I think we get WGA on the same day we get the BAFTAs as well.
Remember, was the WGA? The actual awards weren't until after the Academy Awards a couple of years ago. How frustrating was that, right?
Yeah.
When we come to find out, it didn't matter anyway because they were so wonky or something.
I mean, it's one of those ones like they always WJ always has some weird movies that are just like not eligible for various reasons.
And then they just kicked out what's his face, the guy, no other choice. They kicked him out of the guild because he was writing on a TV show for HBO while the strike was going on.
Yeah.
So it's they're wonky and they're wonky.
But that does bring us to the end of ranking for not ranking God of the Wind for this week, but Dan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me under my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, X/Twitter, Thread Sass, Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, or any variation of my name, DP Skip Allen, or From the Fourth Row. Also, you can find me. I am the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic for FromTheFourthRow.com. I have all kinds of stuff on the site that you can go to. My top 10 of 2025 of TV shows and movies, both separate lists. My most anticipated of 2026. A bunch of articles. I did an interview with the makeup and prosthetics people for The Ugly Stepsister, which we're crossing our fingers. Me and Malcolm, hopefully they get into the 5 for makeup and prosthetics. That'd be amazing. I got tons of stuff coming down the road with TV shows and movies and all kinds of reviews on the site. So just Wonder Man and Star Trek Starfleet Academy and all kinds of movies like The Rip and Send Help and you name it, The Bone Temple, all these movies that are coming up. I'll have reviews on the site. So if you want to see what are my thoughts and my team of writers' thoughts are on some of these, and I will be doing my own personal predictions on the site on my column from the Golden Row. So keep an eye out for that as well. My writer Tyler Banerick is taking over that, and he'll be doing that. So also, I'm sometimes over on Rankum with Malcolm. We just did our ranking of the top 12 films of 2025 on Malcolm's channel, which was a lot of fun. Also, I created a game show. I was part of creating a game show called Movie Mutations. I'll be having my episode of we're going to try to mutate Rocky and see what we can turn Rocky into. It's just going to be a fun thing. I'm over at the Movie Hero Network with Jordan and Austin a bunch of the times. So I'm kind of all over the place. If you just look at my name, Dan Skip, I'm everywhere on social media and in YouTube. So.
And you can find me on Take 3 Productions, hosting Ranking every week. Next week, we are back on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing top 12 part 2s in movie franchise, basically the second installment of franchises and whatnots. So a lot of interesting movies that could be in that that could get brought up. You can also find be on the Movie Hero Network from time to time. I'll be on there for at least 2 times next time around as we talk about 2025 movies. And then you can also find me sort of floating around doing other things. But until next week, we'll see you, and may the gold be forever in your favor.
Oh, that was fast.